Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 25th of September 2023. So today we are just going to run through kind of a step-by-step process of how we can use the software to find trades. I'm actually receiving this question a lot as to like what the strategy is in itself. So we're going to try and touch upon this. I think that we've covered this many times in previous webinars, but it doesn't hurt to touch upon this again once in a while. And so, I mean, essentially, if you're using the supply and demand software or you're using buy and sell zones, we're pretty much doing the same thing. But one thing we have to ensure that is if we are using the supply and demand software in conjunction with the buy and sell zones. Let me turn my phone off. Buy and sell zones algo. I mean, they have to have the same configuration, and if they don't, then you're gonna see some discrepancies in zones. And so, just to give you an idea of the stuff that I like to see, rather the configuration that I appreciate the most, we can visit the software here, and I've put it in this default configuration now. This is a new version. Actually, I think this one's probably out. This is the 1.785. If not, it's coming out this week, but I think we should be running that version now. But we have a couple of things that I like to see. Where are we? Here. Okay, so I want the risk reward to be 1, and I want the price and bounce release period to be 1. And this qualifies a lot of areas, but this in conjunction with the last bar setting is what makes it super interesting. And the reason this is an interesting configuration is because I updated the code just a little bit that sets the expiration on orders. And so if we have a zone here and price, I keep using this, price comes up to this zone. Let me change the color a little bit. Let's make it green. Okay, so we have some bars sitting in here, and then price suddenly leaves. Okay, and then we kind of maybe hold away and then start to move back into an area like this. This is very much what I'm looking for. What I want to happen is I want this relatively moderate price imbalance. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we have the house full of workers. We're redoing the garden and doing some projects in the garden, so it's super noisy, and so I can't really escape the noise. So I had to take a break while they're working. All right, so what was I talking about? So yeah, what I like to see is like a gradual departure from a zone. Nothing massive like this. It doesn't have to be like this, but I want to see like 1 times the zone, just like a solid departure that moves above a high, and then within relatively short order, within 5 to 8 periods, I want price to come back to the zone. And then what I'm doing is I'm just shooting for a trade that reaches the highs here or stops me out somewhere down here. So nothing major. And I've been doing this on the half an hour chart, and the configuration is, it looks like this, where I'm setting this to, what does it say? I can't see without my glasses, but 8. I think it's about 8. So I put that on about 8 periods, and so what the software is doing, it's just scanning all of these symbols. We have 97 symbols here, and it's just kind of it's just identifying these nice setups, and once it clicks one on, then I'm just managing them manually. So I watch the trade. Once it's open, then I like to kind of sit on it and watch it. Because it's on the half an hour chart, like it's over normally pretty quickly, normally within a few hours max. And I really like that way of trading, because it enables me to kind of get everything off the table when I get to my afternoon or evening. and if I was in a trade Friday, I got pulled into a half an hour trade, and it was working. It was a long position on the 30-minute, I think, chart, and the stop was already a break even, and so obviously we got spread it out over the weekend, and so I just took a break even trade there, so no big deal. But I like when the risk is removed before I go to bed or before I get onto a weekend, because Yeah, I just like that a little bit better for the time being at the moment. But of course, if you're trading on the 4 hour, the daily, or the weekly chart, then these things can remain open because they need a bit longer to work. But that's pretty much what I'm doing. Let's maybe click on, rather see if we can find some situations here to kind of illustrate what I'm looking at. So we have a zone here. This one's obviously already been tested. Yeah, so this is just a really good example of that, where we had a 30-minute zone here. It was qualified when this candle closed. This candle closed on the other side of this. We went all the way down here, we poked into the zone, and then we left. So that was just a really beautiful example. And so this one I wouldn't take. I probably wouldn't take. Actually, I know I wouldn't take it because the zone's already been tested. We have another one here. This is another zone. This zone is established when this blue candle closed. 1, 2, 3, 4 periods later. Price poked into the zone, and we kind of accumulated on that little micro zone there for a while before we eventually left. So we can find some more examples. Here's another really good example. The zone was established here when this blue candle closed, when this dot was drawn. 1, 2, 3, 4 periods later, we got the fill and we got a nice departure. We had this one here as well, where this was established. Not exactly what time that is, but there was some gapping there. But it was established here, and the zone was established, and then price kind of went through, and we got stopped out on that one if we would have taken that trade. See if we can find some more examples. Here's another one here, where prices went away. Price came back and sat in that zone before we finally removed it. So another good example of a loser. Here we had a pretty nice zone, but price did not come back to it within 5 periods or whatever. Had another one here. Price came back to it. We sat on that for a little while, and then we finally moved through it. Here we have another one here where price came back within 1, 2, 3, 4 periods, and then we worked. Here we did not come back within that number of periods. We did not come back to this one. Here we came back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within 6 periods. We finally managed to get it off the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No, this is old. So this one was not qualified. We had this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this one's also old, even though we got a reaction. Yeah, so essentially we're looking for stuff like that. This one's a little bit too old, so price went through it. This is what you'll often see. We had this zone here, price came back to it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within 7 periods. And so, I mean, you can see that a lot of these happen within 5 periods. And they're pretty easy to manage, and the risk reward is generally really decent. And so what the software is doing as well, we've out of the box, if we have our entry here. Okay, we have our stop. Let's say here. We have our target. Let's say here. Once price moves halfway to the target, then the stop is moved from here to break even. Okay, and so price can either come back and stop us out of break even, or it can move the target. But what I like to see, if we start to form a price structure that's leading us to believe that prices will continue to move higher, as is often the case, as you've seen here, then we're going to move the target a little bit further higher, and then this is where you can get those nice trades that really run, like this one here and like this one here. This is that's like, what is that, like 15 or a 10 to 1, maybe a 10 to 1 there. Obviously you're not going to get all of it, but you could certainly take a 3 to 1 on that trade without too much effort. And this one as well. And the other ones, if they're not going to work, they're going to get stopped out really quickly. But if they do work, they normally work quite well. Okay, so yeah, so just keep that in mind. Let's see if we're still scanning, nothing to report there. And the good thing is, if you're focusing on 8 periods, that's 4 hours. And if the zone is not tested within 4 hours, then it's void. Obviously, we can put this to 20 hours, and then we'll probably get some trades. I'll close these all off, but I just want to show you what the result will be. The result will be that we'll probably find a trade. And again, that's, you're sitting there, you want to trade, and the algo's not taking any trades. Oh, I wanted to take trades, so you start to force stuff to happen, and that's generally just not a very good idea. I think this is because the stop is too close, because we're pretty close to that. So if we change this to, let's maybe put this to 3, so we get a little bit more time. I don't even think it's that. I think it's actually because the expiration is too close, and it will not allow that. So we put that back to 2. Let's give it a shot, see if that. No, so that's not that. Then it's going to be this. So if we put this to 40, for example, then I think it'll see the invalid trade parameter. That is probably setting the expiration date time of the order too close to actual price, which it does not like. And so now it's something else. Maybe it's the volume. Let's have a look. Could be the volume. So if we put 0.5%, I should try and kind of pencil these out a little bit more so a little bit clearer. Invalid trade parameter is not a very clear message. So there's normally a few reasons this error could occur, and it's related to, no, I have to figure that out, but it's related to the stop being too close to the entry, the volume size being too small for that pair. For example, some pairs you can only trade standard lots, not minis or micros, and others have the expiration time which is too close to the actual time of the trade being open. But I'll do this and issue it in an update, the next update, so we're getting a little bit more information, because this is kind of useless here. Okay, good. Well, they're starting to pick up the noise outside. I can see their breakers stop, so I'm going to stop the video. But if you have any questions about this, please let me know. And once again, thanks so much for watching.